Yes, yes, yes. Let me see. Let me figure this out because I have to do what I got to do. Turn it down. Now I was supposed to go live up in the other media room, but I had too many whatchamacallits that came through, so um I'm speaking in coded language again. I gotta stop doing that. I had too many topics that came through and I wanted to be able to talk about all the topics. So, being that I'm not in, hold on, being that I'm down here, I'm able to jump from screen to screen and show you the topics that I'm talking about. So, I know a lot of times that I'm like talking in code, and that's not on purpose. I apologize. Being that just so used to doing that. So, I'm just sharing it out with everybody. We do have. I forgot my juice upstairs. Oh, I know why I forgot the juice upstairs. My water. I forgot my water upstairs. I gotta get my water. Um, I realize why I forgot it. It's a great time to talk games. With all the information that we got. Yo, what up, Lycos? That's my dude, man. I'm gonna tell you right now. There's no. Yo, I'm gonna tell you, man. A lot of you guys support, and I appreciate each and every last one of you. But you know what? I can actually count on certain individuals always showing up. Now I know, I don't normally go live during the week, but I'm live now. Silences is acting up. Something freaking crazy. But people be him, and he's one of them, bro. I gotta really say thank you. What's crazy is I know that there's a better way to do this. Share it out to one, and then it goes to all of them. You know, Snapchat, Instagram, everything. And right now, I can go live on TikTok, which is crazy, right? And the app that I'm using to send my shorts to TikTok, 'cause I got a bunch of shorts that I send there, but the app is kind of acting weird, so I have to uninstall it and reinstall it because I haven't posted any shorts on TikTok, and I only use TikTok to, just post the shorts. Now, if anybody that joined me today, join me on Frontline Gaming Streams where I was showing Black Myth. I really like the game. Now, let me get a second. I gotta go grab my water. We have a lot of topics to talk about today. What up, Web Dave? That's my dude. Dave. Please have me on your show before we go to Tokyo. Uh, I would love to do your show with you, Hargeek, and everybody. Before we go to Tokyo. I had asked you to hit me up because you had hit me up before we went to where we went to. We went to we had came back from Summer Games Fest, and then you had asked me like on a Saturday. Summertime is over. I'm not going to taking to the wife to the beach and doing all that stuff and taking my son and because do the family day on Saturday. We still do family day on Saturday, but it's a little bit different. It's a lot more flexible. This weekend is the fight. So we'll figure it out. But Dave, please. Eternal, Web Dave, Everborn, that's my guy. I hope everybody got a chance to get their merch from Everborn. Everborn has a line that's out there that's incredible. I was wearing this shirt at a festival that I went to, and my friend asked me, he said, why don't I have a booth there? And I said, well, this is my guy's stuff. He said, well, you could have had a booth here for him. I said, cool. Didn't think about it because it was like a young black entrepreneur expose type of thing that I went to a festival, and they were putting black entrepreneurs in the forefront and it was a business exchange, handing out cards, making contacts, talking about stuff that you're doing, plans on investment and all that other stuff. So yeah, it was a really good thing, and I was out there promoting Everborn Saga. So Food for the Cause was good. Big Fig was good. Give me a second. Let me grab my water. Let me blow my nose. Give me 1 second. Ladies, y'all going to stay right here. I'll be right back. Yeah, stay right here. You cannot go upstairs. I'm just going to go get water. Okay, Coco? Relax. Yeah, I'm going to get water. Coco, wait. Stay. I'm grabbing my water. Stay. See, look, I'm back. See how quick that was? Look, see? Yeah. See? Daddy back. Go ahead, move, mama. See? See? I'm back. See? I didn't even take long. I took a couple of seconds, went, and I'm back. Boom. See how that happened? Very easy. Yo. So, now that we got past the Pete Hines stuff, right? And a lot of other people distracting on what Xbox is doing. Somebody told me a long time ago, very intelligent person, told me, like to know Jay was good. A very important person told me if they're not talking about you, you're doing something wrong. And it's very important to notice that the more CEOs or ex-CEOs or people that were in the industry that lived by the old matrix or metrics, living in the old matrix. Yeah, we're in the new matrix right now, right? CERN done blew us up. We're in a whole different timeline. But living by the old metrics of units sold, I don't know really how Microsoft seems to do it, but they've always seemed to have been at the forefront of where the industry is going. And a lot of times they jump the gun and the consumers aren't ready for where they're going. When they were the first one to put the Ethernet in, well, yeah, because shout out to Dreamcast. And today is the 26th anniversary, 26 years, wow, of Dreamcast. It launched on 9/9/9/99. That was crazy. That was something. You know something? Let me see something. I think I got something on that. Let me see. Because I do. Yeah, I think I have something on that. Let me see something. Hold on. Quiet up. Oh no, that's something different. Let me see. Is it this one? Yeah. Okay. Let's pay our respect. Oh, Stanley, what's good? Let's pay our respect to the Dreamcast, right? Let's get in that, right?
This is the day you have trained for, the day you have studied for. Utilize your superior skills, your superior intelligence.
Sit down, Ronan.
Sarah, baby? Oh, you were one fly.
Don't make me hurt you.
Learn to defeat your ruthless enemy, Steve of Hackensack.
Ryan, you're gonna get root.
Shut up, quadruped.
Sega Dreamcast. It's thinking.
That, to me, was incredible. When I first got my Dreamcast, I remember it was us, it was Cog, it was all of us. We all got our Dreamcast, and all the games. Like, I probably, shout out to, rest in peace to my brother Rick. had every game at launch. Every game at launch. And I'm not gonna lie, man. Some of the best launch titles in the history of console launches. Sega set the bar so high, and Microsoft was part of that. If y'all remember, that was Windows CE stripped down edition. It was in there. It was a custom Windows that was there, and that gave Microsoft its first taste at home console experience through proxy, right? He said the Dreamcast is the second best console, only behind the Series X. I'm gonna beg to differ on that. I'm gonna go with the Dreamcast as an overall better product based off of this. The Series X will have its lifetime to show its value. The Dreamcast, in such a finite, small time frame, because it was out of circulation, I think in 18 months. I think it was 18 months. I think it only lasted 18 months. That we never truly got the true potential of what the system was capable of doing. Without the support of EA, actually kind of sunk the company. Because then major developers started pulling out support for Sega and the Dreamcast, which signaled the death knell of the console. So EA is actually truly to blame, because had they had Madden and NBA Live and other titles like that was actually being really good, then we could actually saw the potential of the machine. I truly loved the PlayStation 2 over the PlayStation 1. I thought the PlayStation 3 had really good games, but I thought the PlayStation 2 was probably the identity of the machine. I think that's when the PlayStation came into their own. But, you know, as far as Sega goes, that was their greatest machine in terms of what it had to offer in such a short window. But then you can look at the Master System and everything else, man. So it is in terms of that stuff. And this is the reason why I'm so hopeful for Activision tomorrow. Acclaim tomorrow, coming back and showing all those titles that we should be live tomorrow. Got to talk to the rest of the team. If we're not live, I'm going to be live. All right, so I'm just gonna let you know that if Iron Lords aren't live tomorrow, watching the Acclaim stuff, I'm gonna be live tomorrow watching the Acclaim stuff. So it's gonna be either here or there, but it's gonna happen because I am a great proponent to having the old return. Like Iron Lords working with Atari, and shout out to the Adventures of Samsua. That not Samsua. Don't be with the Dominican Republic, son. Samsung. That game shows that Atari is putting their best foot forward. We're bringing back Bubsy and all these other titles. Now, in the background, I was working with Atari on a lot of their titles that they were putting forth. Not working as far as a developer. That is not my niche. I'm talking about playtesting some games, talking to my man Jason that's over there. I'm speaking to the head guy, Dave, and trying to map out a protocol for Iron Lords and Atari to help usher in the new, right? To bring us back to prominence, because I think Atari has a ton of IPs that can actually do some good in the industry. Since the industry is now going forward to having smaller titles become the norm, where we started from. Have you noticed that we have come full circle? Where the unsustainable practices of having larger titles, and this is Jack Tritton, Sean Layden, and those individuals that ushered in the high cost of games that weren't returning the investment. So you can understand now the return to form is putting out smaller titles that actually hit the internal metrics as far as return on investments and distribution globally in areas that normally these titles would never reach. So you're looking at AAA games, but on a single A budget that are actually making it. With games like Silksong showing the way, and other titles like Shinobi, a host of other titles that are affordable titles that is showing that there's money to be made, but you have to get back to fun and gameplay. Getting back to fun and gameplay and putting the control back inside the player's hands instead of you putting your controller down to watch a cutscene. You're actually interacting with this. Instead of going to get a bunch of voice actors and stuff like that, get a little bit creative. I used to tease Nintendo so much for not having voice inside their games, with being creative with bloobs and blops for names and voices of characters. That was genius. They kind of kept to the formula. They did bend on a couple of things with using voice actors and stuff like that. Not saying that I want to remove voice actors out of games. What I want to do is shrink the budgets, but give back a gaming experience that makes actual sense. And it seems like a lot of these companies are understanding that is the protocol. With the TGS showing up, and I got to do this. I know that this should not be done, but it has to happen because I definitely want to talk about it. But this. Iron Lord's podcast will be at the Tokyo Game Show this year. And this year is our first time in Japan. And there's a ton of games that are going to be shown at the Tokyo Game Show. Now, some of the games that are going to be shown, we have, how can I say, access to. We're going to be at the Tokyo Game Show, and you know what? I'm going to set it off with that. Because I think Bone T will go on. Blessings. Let me see. Let me start giving shout outs. South Sea Gamer, Trey Bone, 408, Jay's Wade. Bone T said that. And that one guy, Sean Layden, did this to us, and then he demanded us to pay for his trash. Facts. You know what the wildest thing is? The fact that Game Pass is the wave, and he ushered in the PlayStation Plus, and it wasn't really that good. And it still is as mediocre as what he ushered in. And the fact that he thought in the beginning that Game Pass wouldn't be sustainable because he was under the impression that Microsoft would never actually fully back or fund Xbox. And that kind of blew up in his face where the guy, and I told y'all, if y'all looked at those pictures, I had a picture of Reggie Fils-Aimé with Phil standing in the middle and Sean Layden on the other side. And I said, if he did this, those two was going to be X'd out, and I knew that my guy would be the last man standing. Shout out to Phil Dominus Maximus Aurelius Spencer, first of his name. And I know that irritates the hell out of certain people, but at the end of the day, you just bet on the wrong horse. And I understood, well, maybe you did bet on the right horse because you're a pony, but you bet on the wrong horse because I understood Reggie was a man of character. And he just wasn't going to take it. He was like, I'm out of here. I'm not doing this. And I'm gone. Took his ball and left. Honestly, after spending time with Reggie Fils-Aimé and actually seeing how the man operate, I can understand that and then when we have him on Iron Lords, we will talk about that. I'm going to shoot my shot this year at the New York City Game Awards and have a conversation with Reggie to get him onto the show so we can just talk to him for at least an hour or 2 hours based upon his knowledge in the industry. Reggie is a very insightful guy. So the conversations I did have, no matter how brief it was, I understood exactly he wasn't going for what Nintendo was trying to go for. Sean just didn't see it coming. The blind side from Jim actually asked him out. And the practices that he put in place, him and Jack Tritton put in place, kind of sunk the company, kind of put the company in a bad spot. Sony is in that bad spot right now based off of business practices, and they didn't build the company up for longevity. They thought that Microsoft would never back Xbox, and Phil was on a sinking ship. Well, apparently, Phil wasn't on the Titanic, and he was, what was that Jack Sparrow ship, the black something He came back from the dead, son. He got Davy Joe's locker, and they wilding right now, son. Yo, it was crazy is Sea of Thieves is the perfect thought when you think about it, because it's games like that people said that will never make it. Grounded, Sea of Thieves, these games that people said that Xbox was investing in the wrong areas that would not make it are successful to the point that they're bringing in millions of dollars monthly off of just a subscription service and bringing fun back to the games without breaking the budget. You see? And then who would have thought that in a time now where everything costs so much and Microsoft is giving back and Xbox is giving back so much to the consumer, it's an insane proposition to think that these things are all coming to a head. Pause. Especially when you think where Xbox is going. Now, I'm going to talk about this, and it's going to lead into something else, but this part right here. Now, I've told y'all before. Remember when we was talking before, and I told you that Xbox was quietly fixing their servers, preparing for the next generation, and by proxy, by preparing for the next generation and moving forward, they were going to have to focus heavily on AI and cloud. Being that AI and cloud is the backbone right now of Microsoft, well, I would probably say the nervous system. The backbone is really still services, right? Still really Windows, right? So you would say that it's the nervous system. And knowing that that nervous system needs to have a conduit to get to places, I understood that xCloud, before it reached greatness, before it can stand on its own, because it's still in beta, it will have to go through a change. And them building up those servers, now those servers have a dual purpose. They will continue to give us hardware. And then, by proxy, the AI will be greater, and so would the cloud. Now, I know you're saying, how do I know? Well, the research that I do on OpenAI and Anthropic, which right now Microsoft is kind of partially supplanting the OpenAI relationship they have with Anthropic, that is the AI that they're using they're asking the AI to give reasonable ways and solutions in order to stream better. And they came up with a couple of solutions. Because right now you can do 1080p and you can do 720p, right? But with this new upgrade that's coming in right now, the new upgrade is a little bit different. It's not going to see, these guys get a little ahead of themselves with saying that is it going to rival, and I'm not going at Jez because Jez is my guy. Shout out to Jez. I love Jez. It's not going to rival GeForce Now. GeForce Now's whole business model when it comes to video games is based off of this. That's not Xbox bag. At some point in time, it will be. But right now, because they don't sell hardware, they sell hardware in the sense of GPUs. But those GPUs is basically used for everything else. This thing is going to have something called 720p high quality, 1080p high quality, and 1440. And it's going to be, if you've used YouTube and had high quality mode, if you pay for YouTube Premium, you can see the difference. You can see the difference in 720. You can see the difference in 1080p, and you can see the difference in 1440. Now, I know you guys are going to say, but I like to stream, or if you do stream or you game, you like to game at the highest quality available. And a lot of us would say,
Hyundai Tucson versus Ford Escape.
I apologize. Shut up. I apologize for that. That thing just did something stupid.
Doesn't.
All right, get out of here. I got to throw you away. We're going to talk about that topic in a second. Hold on. That was out of control. I hate when ads pop up like that. Got to put a pop-up blocker. God, that threw me off. All right, so the fact of the matter is this. They have to upgrade the servers. By upgrading the servers, they're going to upgrade the cloud. The cloud is going to do a whole lot more than it was initially able to do. If you have a YouTube Premium, you can see the difference. But I know you're saying that you want to game at a higher fidelity. The highest fidelity that a lot of us like to game at is 4K. Now, a lot of that 4K, very recently, let's use the PlayStation 4 Pro. I mean, the PlayStation 5 Pro as an example. Using the machine learning in the machine, the AI, the pisser, if you will, using that, you can input at a lower resolution and have the upscale it at a higher resolution, sort of like DLSS, sort of like AMD solution to it, FSR, and PlayStation is like the infant when it comes to it right now, and I'm only talking about it because we're talking consoles here. When we talk PC, then we can talk about it in depth, but they are finding solutions and giving you a greater picture at a lower fidelity. Now, how does that help streaming? Well, through bit rate and stuff like that, that stuff, how much volume that you're sending through the pipeline to your intended device, actually, it performs better if it has less data to actually sort through by the time it gets to you, if that makes any sense to you, right? So the smaller the bit, going through the bit rate, actually the better the image. Later, if you can upscale it to a better image. Xbox has started the whole play anywhere, right? Play anywhere, do anything. Here we go. Play anywhere, do anything. And they made strategic partnerships with Samsung, LG, and a host of others around the world. Now, we're starting to see what the LG proponent to that streaming cloud and taking that very serious is about. And that is pretty much this. Hold on. I know a lot of times I got to set it up. So that's pretty much this part here, because what we don't know is they are thinking far greater than the norm. Normally, a lot of these companies are just looking to sell you something at point of sale. Come get a physical. And we're going to talk about physical in a second. We're going to talk about the two differences between the PlayStation and the Xbox. Well, a major glaring difference that people still holding on to the past will absolutely love Sony, and people that want future is going to absolutely love Xbox. And it's going to kind of split the way we see things. It's going to split gaming. And I'm going to show you why it's going to split gaming and some things that people probably don't think about, but I think about it on a constant basis, knowing that the industry is absolutely ready for this. Is it funny any longer? I want to know who's laughing now. Where I told you that Game Pass was the platform. There's many different components now that they made Game Pass into. The buy it and play anywhere program is absolutely insane. Especially when you start to look at OEM devices coming out like the handhelds. We're going to get into handhelds as well. When you have the Asus ROG Ally coming out in October with the Windows interface that's built into it, that user AI is going to be placed into other devices. That small screen at 720p looks fantastic. With VRR, upscaling to 1080p, max probably 1440p, that screams that streaming device. Now, remember I told you that I believe that Microsoft is working on a streaming device sort of like the Portal? I believe that device is going to make its landmark next year. I believe that's when you get that console. Now, I think that console launches in conjunction with Xbox official hardware. Now, the official well, no. You know what? Let me preface it with this. I believe that the OEM hardware will launch next year with all those games. I believe in 2027 you get the official Xbox hardware, but I do believe that streaming device is going to come out at the same price point that you would have a Portal, right? So nothing that you could probably physically download, or maybe you can take your SSDs, those expansion SSDs, and put it inside the device in order to have your games downloaded there. Don't do it. To have those games there. Right? So you got to think about it that way, that they're going to have a smaller solution device, because for those people that see the Xbox ROG Ally and see the price point, and we're going to get into another device in a second. And when you see that device, that price point, that kind of puts you off, right? So you got to get to a customer friendly aspect of it. And this is the reason why they're going to start offering more tiers with cloud streaming available. Notice that that car was a conduit to you driving and that being an Xbox. Now, that's talking to a different customer, right? That's talking to the mature you, the you that got a car, that has a family, that is going on vacation, and you're driving across country, but you need to keep the kids entertained. Well, partnering with LG, you're placing those screens inside these cars. And placing those screens inside the cars places an Xbox inside those cars. And by placing the Xbox inside those cars, they have to have a Game Pass subscription. Now, no matter what tier it is, I don't know how they're going to do tier structuring, but right now that's Game Pass Ultimate. Having a Game Pass Ultimate subscription would afford you that whole streaming scenario, the trips, all of that stuff happening. Think about it, knowing that Xbox Game Pass. Hey, what are you doing over there? Hold on one second. Come here. Give me this. Get over here. Sit down. Stop bothering her. You're being a nuisance to Bella and whatchamacallit, having fun. Right. So the streaming solution itself is really going to show you how viable Game Pass is. Now, I heard somebody put in my comments that they're waiting for the Xbox handhelds because they want to download, they want to have all their titles. Remember, they're also doing the play from your collection. Wherever you have your games, they're uploading new titles that are in that whole streaming and the whole play from your collection stuff. It's all strategic and it all plays out. But it only takes one company to usher in all of the change. Microsoft is well equipped with Xbox in order to do that. A lot of these companies aren't able to do that. See, now Nintendo has their own solution when it comes to how they tend to do things. It's very well thought out. If you go to the Nintendo ecosystem, you go to the Nintendo store, you look at their stuff, and it's absolutely well thought out. From the game cards to how they lend it, they're still trying to keep control. And they're still trying to be them, but at the same time, expand on the Nintendo brand. They're getting a lot of backlash from those virtual game cards because a lot of people like physical media. We're going to talk about the physical media in a few. But right now, Game Pass and LG is using streaming as a vehicle. See the pun that I used there? To get people in seats. You saw that. You saw what I just did, right? They're using it as a vehicle to get people in seats. Come on, man. Give me mine, man, bro. Just give me mine. I'm just saying. I work real hard at it. Give me mine, man. Now, I know we was just talking about this, and we really need to talk about it because the topic is basically this, right? The topic is this right here. Sega Atlas at the Tokyo Game Show, along with Microsoft. Now, I do want to hit the Sega aspect of this first because for a very long time, I've waited for Virtua Fighters. For a very long time. Now, Revo is going to be there, but at that booth, I might get a chance to see the new Virtua Fighters. Now, Sega has Panzer Dragon Zowie remake or remastered that's supposed to be there. And that's not from them. I think it's Rainy Games that's actually doing it. I'm going to have my hands-on demo of that while I'm there. Now, I want some of the members to leave me comments for what games they want me to cover, because I'm going to be doing IRL stuff while I'm in Tokyo, going live the majority of the time, so you guys can see the stuff. But this is the titles that they have here, right? So they're going to have Sonic World. They're going to have the Virtua Fighters Revo, the Persona 3 Reloaded, the Persona 5, Football Manager, I don't know what that is. FC 26, Borderlands is going to be there. Project Motor Racing. What's that? I didn't see this. Oh, you can go to the website. Okay, what is this? This is Project Motor Racing is a full-fledged racing simulation game that brings together 20 years of racing simulation developed from the know-hows from Straightforward Studios, faithfully recreate professional motorsports. That might be fun. All right. So these 4 boxes coming soon. I don't know what those can be. Now, I'm really can't wait to play this. I really can't. I do want to get it. I do want to have time with it. Just, boy, you have no idea about my time schedule. I really don't. But the game looks incredible. The game looks absolutely insane. The game looks nuts. If you're a Sonic fan, Hollywood Rules was good. That's right. Use your IPs, man. Wow. That looks absolutely crazy. Oh! Hey, yo! Absolutely insane stuff there, boy. Absolutely insane stuff. And so I really can't wait for that. Whole bunch of other stuff there. They do have like the Pac-Man world. Yeah, see? The Pac-Man joint right there. All of this stuff. And we're going to get firsthand hands-on with all of this stuff. And I just absolutely cannot wait to actually get a chance to play this. Now, you said you played the demo. I think graphically, it blows Mario Kart out the water. Now, I'm really not itching on Mario Kart. If you can see, this was what I was playing when I went on vacation, when I had some downtime. So I'm just saying graphically, it's in a whole nother league. Really glad to see them use those IPs. Yeah, me too. Now I want to know, what games do you think that's in these boxes? What game is actually gonna come out? I don't know. I I heard rumblings of a Golden Axe. I don't know if it's available yet, but I heard rumblings of that stuff right there. That might be possible. I don't know. What Sega IP do you want them to bring back in an official way to be shown at TGS? Leave a comment. Let me know. I want to know. I really, truly want to know, because it might be something I get a chance to cover. Because understand, we have good relationships with Sega, and we're going to be there, and we're going to get a tour of their area. Being there is going to be insane in itself, but getting a tour to each individual game and having a conversation, we're going to have a translator with us, and I guess I got to pay for another translator because I want Cog to do his interviews, and I'm going to snatch Solve, and he's going to be with me. So I need to have a translator that's going to be with me and Solve to do our interviews, and that's pretty much how we shotgun interviews. So we're going to get that stuff done and give you all that information from the Tokyo Game Show. I think it's going to be absolutely insane, and to know that Sega is there in such a big way lets you know that everything has cycles. Either you change and evolve and grow, or you just go away. And if you're a strong IP, if you have strong IPs, if you was a strong company, you're going to figure it out. You probably had the wrong people in place. Now look what Jim did. Jim kind of actually sunk the PlayStation, but the PlayStation was on this downward spiral, if you didn't notice it or not. And he tried to course correct. He tried to drastically change what the PlayStation business model was to an online service model. And he understood that, yeah, if you put 12 in the pot, maybe only 2 or 3 comes out. But if those 2 or 3 hit, he understands the revenue that can come off of that. He gambled. And I think that the people that were behind him got fearful when the first big loss went down, and they looked at the roster and realized they probably didn't have any true winners there. And then, I mean, not counting Helldivers, but if you look at Helldivers throughout the PlayStation, really Steam has held them up. Then Xbox came through and held them up as well. Jim had some good foresight, but it was so much bad karma, if you're looking from Jack Tretton and Sean Layden, that actually kind of sunk the company. And I understand exactly why, he was let out. And not saying that it's right, and I can see why he's, so angry right now, because, Phil is the one that got him out of there. But if you look at it, Jim would have course corrected. I think if they would have let Jim cook, I think you would still have a couple of those live service games make it out the door. And some of them would have actually been right. I think if Jim had any say-so at the time, they could have did some stuff to make Concord still viable, speed up the game, change up the player models, fix a little things to it. Is it going to be a great title? No, it could be a serviceable title, but that money that they put into the title, Concord, it was like Anthem money, and doing that is going to definitely sink it. So while we're still here on the Tokyo Game Show, I do want to talk about Xbox being at the Tokyo Game Show. Microsoft announces the Xbox Tokyo Game Show 2025 broadcasts later in September. Here's what to expect. Now, they're going to go Thursday the 25th, and we're going to be there. We're going to be there for all 4 games, for all 4 days. Now, the first 2 days is what is it? It's business days, right? It's the 25th and the 26th, right? And then the 27th and the 28th is open to the public. So we are going to get a chance to mingle with the populace and see how their conventions are with everyone. But I do like the 2 business days that allow us to handle business, get in there, get all the interviews that we absolutely need. And on the other days, we get a chance to record and talk to people at the shows. So Ninja Gaiden 4 is going to be there playable. It's going to be at the booth. And I know they're going to have a ton of more games like, Forza Horizon. You might get the trailer there. You're not going to probably have anything playable at all. I want to know what you guys think is going to be at the Xbox booth for them to show. Now, I heard there's supposed to be some game reveals. I heard that they are taking, and it could be just the Forza, right? And Forza is large enough to show on that stage. But I'm expecting 2 titles to be shown for Xbox, and it could be, I know the Final Fantasy should be at their booth playable. Final Fantasy 7 Remake should be definitely there playable. Do we get an announcement for Rebirth at the same time as the Tokyo Game Show? I think it's around time for them to start making these conversations happen, because you also will be seeing Silent Hill, because Silent Hill comes out in October, and you already have Silent Hill F that's going to launch on the Xbox. So all these titles that has missed the platform are making a return to form, and I think the Tokyo Game Show is the right platform in order to do so. A lot of these titles miss Xbox, but with their renewed vigor over, you said Target Earth, Columns, and Moonwalker. They can't do Moonwalker for the simple fact that the Michael Jackson estate has been a major stumbling block when it comes to doing Moonwalker. Columns, I'm good for. Target Earth, probably good. Sega GT, Scud Racer. Do you know, when y'all get a chance to see the room upstairs, I have an arcade machine there that I purposely brought that arcade machine because that arcade machine has Scud Racer in it. I'm able to hook up a steering wheel to it. There's a standalone cabinet. It's a mini cabinet. It's around, a mini cabinet, right? So, and it's you can play it on a tabletop because I have it on a tabletop. But has thousands of games in it, like 60-something thousand games. And it has over 150 consoles in it. It uses Hyperspin. Beautiful sound chip. Everything is fantastic. And I can use a light gun. I can hook up controllers to it. It has Bluetooth. I can use the steering wheel. I got it for Scud Racer. That was the one arcade Sega game that I wanted to come to the house, and I thought the Dreamcast was going to get it, and it never got it. Be Nice was good. Live was good. Fallout Remaster. Phantasy Star RPG not online. That would be crazy. Oh, we're not playing Borderlands 4 on Friday because I don't have it. Now, okay. Let me explain. I can say 2 things. I would definitely buy it, but I can't. We're going to Tokyo. The Iron Bank says absolutely not, right? Especially when we had to pay for the Demon Slayer movie that we're going to go see next week, and you're going to get a roundtable review right after, because we're taking the GoPros. We're going to do it live on the spot, and Attic is coming to New York, and we're going to do all of that stuff. So a lot of money was spent to do that, and Borderlands isn't in the cards. Now, gifted, I'll play it. I thought we was going to play Helldivers on Friday. I know dudes is going to be heavily into Borderlands. So, again, whatever Fight Night Friday turns into, I'm down for the ride. I saw Winter Soldier pop in my stream today, and he wanted to play some Marvel Rivals. So, again, it all boils down to who shows up, what they want to do, and how we play. Oh, man, Dynamite Duke. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely. We do have a large pedigree when it comes to Sega IPs. Xbox is the wild card at the Tokyo Game Show because Phil going to Platinum Games and, talking with them to make sure that they can get Ninja Gaiden on board and out the door. And that happened because Phil went over there. That's his level of commitment to the Japanese audience and the Eastern fan base. Now, they do have a China initiative. If you see them at, I think it was China Joy Game or Game Joy 2025, they do have a China initiative. So if you guys think that PlayStation was the only ones that were over there, you're highly mistaken. Xbox is making inroads there as well. I'm not going to say Shohei didn't get out there first and did not start paving the way, blazing a trail. That's who Shohei is. He's a trendsetter when it comes to talking to these indies and getting these games across the line. I truly love all the stuff that he does. I really would love for Xbox to snatch his ass up. But again, sometimes that stuff isn't in the cards, right? You know, you can want Shohei to be there, but sometimes it's not in the cards. But let me see. Hold on. Let me get to this right now. We had somebody talking about the Steam frame this week. Doing a whole bunch of research, trying to figure out what the Steam frame is, because they thinking that it was supposed to be a console that was supposed to go up against the Xbox and rival the Xbox. I'm not saying that they're not looking at Steam machines, but the frame is really for VR, and that's pretty much it. So, listen, Valve's Steam frame is looking more like a standalone VR headset to take on the MetaQuest, and this is what they know about it so far. And again, I never thought that they were going to be foolish enough to go and challenge Microsoft and Xbox in that whole OEM arena. They tried that. It didn't go well. They hit gold when it came to the Steam Deck. And I think that they're going to try to go mine an area that actually makes sense to them, right? So we're looking at it, you say $1,200, right? They said this thing looks like this. You see the images of it. Now, while it's yet to be official, if Valve ends up naming the expected Valve deck card the Steam frame, as sadly it's Bradley suggests, we could have an all-new VR headset on our hands by the end of the year. I believe that this would make more sense for them, right? Personally, I don't think them making a console makes too much sense, especially when the metrics is showing that the youth now isn't buying consoles in the manner that shows growth. The industry is not growing how it's supposed to. Actually, it's shrinking. So when you see Microsoft and Xbox, sorry for my sinuses, when you see Microsoft and Xbox wanting to push out further by doing different things, you have to understand you can only mine the same ore for a limited amount of time before that well goes dry, right? If I'm raising my kid and my kid really doesn't care about consoles, going forward, he's not going to purchase a console. But then you got to figure out how to reach all the other people that probably don't have the disposable income to get a console, but need to play. Now, this is not disposable income. What I'm about to show you, the Lenovo Legion Go 2 is not disposable income. If anybody knows that they bet wrong, they bet absolutely wrong with that big 8-inch screen, pause, that is OLED. Well, that stuff got hit upside its head and the price jumped dramatically. When the Xbox Asus ROG Ally X and the Xbox Asus ROG Ally chose to use a LCD VRR screen, that shows they chose correctly. I know a lot of you guys like OLED screens. Well, this will be available for you now. Go out and get it for that crazy ass price. And they're just trying to tell you that full screen mode from Xbox, they're going to get it in 2026. They're going to get it next year, around March. So if you could wait, you could do it. Now, the Xbox Asus ROG Ally, they're going to have it at launch. And that's in October. And it's such a wonderful device that I got a chance to play it in Best Buy the other day. They are popping up all around the country where you get a chance to go in, play a standalone unit to see what the difference is in the previous version and the newer model. Now, me using this model, I think it was yesterday. Yeah, it was absolutely yesterday. Me using the Asus ROG Ally X, I have it was the black one. It felt a lot more comfortable in my hands. First of all, the ergonomics was totally better, and it felt like an actual gaming device. Now, I don't like how thin my Switch is, so really I put my Switch on the table and then I take the Joy-Cons off, and I play it that way because it just doesn't feel nice in my hands. Pause. Now, I play my Steam Deck a whole lot better because my Steam Deck actually feels better as, a console in your hands. Well, this Asus ROG Ally X actually fits the bill. And I appreciate the time that they took in order to make it a little bit more, stable in your hands. Feels better. The user interface. Now, they still have Armory Crate there, but I'm able to jump inside Xbox games. I was able to play Gears, and yeah, that's it. I just saw Gears because I was waiting for I had got a mini USB wire because I lost mine for my my Blue Yeti. Y'all gonna see because I'm gonna have my Blue Yeti upstairs hooked up to my deck and a whole bunch of conversations to be had. That's what I had to get yesterday because I couldn't find it. So their big claim to fame now is don't worry about it. Oh, and it's an 8.8 inch screen. Ridiculous. Madness. The HDR, 144 hertz, 120 hertz. Yeah, listen, man. A madness device that is going for damn near $1,400. Remember when I told you that the next Xbox that is going to be $1,500? I told you the OEM box that it should be coming out next year will be $1,500, and y'all trust me, I think that's the price point. I'm not capping when it comes to that. What are my thoughts about Chronos? Didn't get a chance to play Chronos yet. Sovereign brought Chronos. Listen, Sovereign's an absolute madman. I don't have enough time in the day to play all those games. I'm not going to go buy a game and let it sit. I have done that with so many games just to have them. For what? I just don't do it anymore. If I'm not going to play it, I'm not going to buy it. I'm going to only buy what I'm going to play, and I'm going to get a chance to play that stuff then. Doing too much with that screen. Yeah, they're doing absolutely too much with that screen. It's absolutely bananas. But people fail to realize that the Xbox Asus ROG Ally X is a dockable machine that you can put up to your television. I have a keyboard and mouse that I had for my other Asus ROG Ally. And I was docking it. I was playing it. And you could actually hook up another GPU to it. I know 108 Dragons has done it. And he still has that setup where he gets all that extra GPU power. I don't know how it works like that because I wasn't willing to spend $1,500. But I was willing to spend I think it was what it cost me $800. But yeah. Now, we got to talk about the elephant in the room. What up, guys? He said, besides the Legion Gold 2 is not using the standard SSD size, is diabolical with the ROG Ally or as a normal 220 SSDs. You get to buy the 4 terabyte once you upgrade. Yeah. I already have my I think I got two tera upstairs ready to do my surgery. We got to talk about the elephant in the room. Now, a lot of dudes will accuse me of ducking smoke. I'm not going to duck no smoke. The PlayStation 6 rumors claim that the console will have a detachable disk drive with physical games still available. Hashtag no PlayStation 6. You know what it is. We're going to run it up on these bums. I'm going to keep the boot on Kong's neck this whole generation. Now, remember when they were talking about the PlayStation is going to have 3 different versions and all this other crap? Now stuff starts to make sense. The house of no innovation is going to do the digital, the one with the disk drive. Now, people wanting a PlayStation Vita, it's not going to be. Now, you're going to probably get a PlayStation Portal Deluxe with more streaming capabilities that is able to download. You probably have some proprietary storage that you could put to it that is able to download a greater level of games to the device that you're actually able to play it without any internet connection. And that makes that device a lot more attractive. I honestly believe that device is going to sell in droves. I believe that device is going to make sure that there's no PlayStation 6. But I digress. I also believe that device is going to come out a whole lot faster. I think that device is coming out in 2027. I think that if a PlayStation 6 ever does come out the door, it's coming out late 2028, 2029 from the white papers that I told you before. I believe that they always stuck to their timeline and wasn't going to break their timeline for anyone. But this hard drive, this makes a whole bunch of sense. These things only cost $10 to $12 to make. And they sell it for $100. 100 plus. If you don't know them making money like that, that's easy money. Now, the bigger question is the PlayStation brand going to put all the games on the disc? See, I've noticed this generation, I've purchased less and less physical games on PlayStation and brought more digital. For PlayStation, for me, it's a horrifying prospect knowing their business practices is highly iffy. And this may give solace to a lot of you guys thinking that you are safe, not knowing that one, you need an internet connection to even hook that thing up. Two, maybe the game isn't fully on the disc. So it's a fallacy believing that you can believe anything they say. But one thing I can believe in, they're definitely selling you that disc drive. And they definitely going to make sure that you go to the store and it says it's sold out. So when you see it in your cart, you can run and go get it. Introduce fake FOMO to foolish people. A fool and his money is soon parted. And yes, this is the way you part ways. Now, I've noticed, for a long time, I wasn't a PC gamer. I used to do it back in the days. And when we got, it was before we got the NZXT deal. I had picked up one because we was doing the podcasting. So I said, I got to go grab me a PC. I ran out and grabbed me an iBuyPower. And I got everything. I got like the top of the line, whatever. And then it was no disk drive. I realized that PC guys had been made the jump to all digital, with the majority of their libraries being exponentially purely digital, with all the extra memory that they're able to put in their devices. So Microsoft making that move to really an all digital future with Game Pass being the platform. You got to look at it this way. Game Pass being the platform, them closing down the 4 plants that they did have that was manufacturing discs. Well, they closed down 2. Left, I don't know if they got 1 left or whatever. But the distribution for physical from Xbox is at a different cadence than the other guys. They already got their fan base already kind of pushed over to all digital lifestyle. And that was on purpose. All digital allows you to keep all the money. PlayStation realized that offering a completely digital device allows them to keep the majority of the bread. But it is a physical fan base that is delusional enough to believe that all that stuff is on the disc. Now, not all games are partial. Some games are full on disc. And there's a website that you can go to see what games are fully on disc and what games are partial. But Nintendo kind of disrespected the physical fan base with the virtual game cards, right? Because that's not a physical device. All of them want to do it. Microsoft has just been the most aggressive. With PlayStation saying this, it made people think, oh man, they really care about us. They're really going to take us to the next level because the PlayStation 6 will be a fully physical device. Partially, maybe. You got to know what's on that damn disc. If that disc is just a license to actually get the game and to download it, what is the sense? Now it's just something to take up space. So I don't know where you land on this. I don't know if you land on I'm a physical person or I'm a digital person. I don't know. Me personally, I got lazy. I think they kind of beat me into submission, pause, where now I just like jumping from game to game. See, quick resume only works if you're in a digital world. Quick resume does not work if you're in a physical world. This is the reason why Microsoft, it was so far thinking, the play anywhere, the digital, the cloud, all of that stuff coincides with no physical. Yeah, less control for you, theoretically. More flexibility in how you game and potentially at a greater degree. You see, leaving physical behind allows you to always be engaged. Now, you got to think from the corporation standpoint. The corporation always wants your eyes there. Where we're scrolling on our phones, we're watching movies, we're disconnected from the device that actually facilitates our fun. Well, what if we gave you the ability to always be connected to your games no matter what device you use? Then you're always going to be engaged, and that changes the metrics. And I told you, engagement was the new metrics long time ago. Now you see everybody adapting the thought process because your data is your currency. You are absolutely the most valuable thing to these companies because how you game, where you game, and why you game shows that they can sell your data to all these companies that wants to get your money. Now, how do you get money? By giving up your time. Your time is super valuable. And if they can occupy your time in some form or fashion, then they got you. The all digital access takes away your time. That's why I don't got any goddamn time to be playing Borderlands this Friday, because my money has been sapped up to do other things. You see how it works? Do you see? Once you're locked in, you're pretty much stuck. That's how Apple does it. That's how Sony does it. That's how everyone does it. So you lose on this end, you win on that end. See, a lot of times you get a physical device and you're not able to access it if you have no internet. Now that kind of sucks. That's why I got a lot of retro consoles. I have a ton of them. I have all of them. Shout out to John Wolf. He the one that helped. He got me the Sega Genesis OG. You're going to see that too, man. I love playing it. But I would like to see Altered Beast. I'm a huge Altered Beast fan. I would love to see Altered Beast. And the last topic. The last topic is the fear. No, I'm not in the new room. Dip down. This is the old room. Shut up. You see him here, right? I had so many topics I had to talk to. Dip down. If you watch it from the beginning, it explains why I'm not inside the other room. And it's not a new room. It's just a new room to you. It's an old room to me. But anyway, this thing I thought was kind of cool. You know, Grand Theft Auto 5 leads all-time PlayStation sales, and Call of Duty dominates. Now, if you come down to this list, you know, all-time best-selling PlayStation games by dollars is Grand Theft Auto, Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales, which actually beat out the original Spider-Man, which is kind of crazy. Spider-Man 2, Modern Warfare, and the majority of this list is Call of Duties and Guitar Heroes with a bunch of Call of Duties. And then you come down here and you get down to the best-selling PlayStation games by units of all time, and a bunch of Call of Duties. Remember when I told you I think that you said hateful ass? He said, why is that? Looking at you there. Oh, Diddy. You stupid. Diddy Kong. And that's not how you spell Diddy. Remember when I told you I believe that Xbox targeted PlayStation with that whole ABK thing? I think that was a whole targeted assassination. And let me explain why. I believe that it was targeted in the sense that if you see that list, you pretty much got the Call of Duty locked in. You pretty much got the PlayStation fan base. That leads you to believe this. Microsoft always knew that they was going to go third party. And what way to ensure you controlling the opposition's ecosystem while galvanizing all your resources to extract the cash from them to in turn place that into your war chest of games that you'll be sending over at a rapid pace to keep their games from out of the top 10 and your games inside their ecosystem thriving while you're making money and they're barely making enough to keep the stuff viable. That's how you drip feed them. And I think they were targeted, to be honest with you, because listen, and don't tell me about Nintendo not giving up dev kits. There's a regular Switch right there. And the regular Switch could play games as well. You got some games that you can put on a regular Switch. They targeted this dude. And yeah, Nintendo's a little bit later. But once you start to dominate and control the leader in units shipped, then you pretty much control the mentality of gaming. Right? And then once they start to realize that they're able to, they don't have to leave. They can just pay for a subscription service to have access to. You don't lose a customer there. You gain a customer here. And in gaining that customer here in your ecosystem, then you can actually sell to them directly on all of that other third-party stuff that will exclude them from the PlayStation. See, because that's where the PlayStation makes the majority of their money, through third-party stuff. First party, they dropping what? Ghost of Yode this year. Don't count the baseball. You have to see how you strategically box in a competitor that is actually greater than you in the minds of the populace. You can have all the resources in the world, but if you don't have the popular vote, you're just not going to win. Right? Should make sense, right? Sometimes it don't go like that. I'm just saying. The correct way to spell Diddy is King David. Anybody agrees with him is going to go to YouTube purgatory. But this is Xbox Frontline News with your boy, the King. I can't wait for Tokyo Game Show. I can't wait to get to the Sega booth. I can't wait to get to the Square Enix booth. We have a lot of surprises for you guys. Shout out to Valari. They're one of our sponsors there. And I got a little known, I can say it. Shout out to Inside Gaming. We're going to be doing a lot of things in the future with both companies. Shout out to Advanced GG for keeping the King hydrated at all times. Right now, hydration is white grape. You know how I do. Didn't take any boost today. And I should have, right? Should have gotten that boost. But again, shout out to everybody. You guys are what motivate me to do everything that I do. If you had any questions, please leave a comment. Let me know. We're going to start talking. Now, tomorrow, I'm going to get that review up for Roses. If anybody saw War of the Roses back in the days, or if you didn't, it's a relationship movie. Started off a great love story, kind of ended tragically. Well, Roses is the reenactment or the remaster, if you will, of that movie. And you have Doctor Strange, Cumberbatch, in the movie. It's a hilarious movie. And I'm going to do something different with this review. So it's going up for my members. and I'm gonna do because I can't monetize it, so it's going up for members, and it's gonna be different. I want to see what this format does. I want to see if it does something, if it yields some greater results as far as, and I'm not gonna have because I don't have a lot of members, but I want to know. I want the interaction. I want the conversation. So that's why I'm doing it. I want to see what it looks like through your eyes. Did I put this spot perfectly? Did this make sense? So that's my test bed for that. And then Attic and I is going to see The Conjuring. Dip Down and I will be doing Jujutsu Kaisen this week, so you get a chance to see that on the Patreon. If you're part of the Patreon on Dip Down Anime or Iron Lords, you get a chance to see that stuff. Right now, I got that country music up. You're gonna got me into that, but go check that out. And I did the Black Kaiju. The Black Kaiju, pause. Kaiju number 8. Go check that out. I did both seasons. That was dope. But right now, I think I'm watching the greatest anime that I've seen ever. Now, you know, Naruto is my favorite, but I got to see where this goes to. See, because I have so many episodes of Naruto that this guy has to actually beat a lot of those episodes, like the Pain versus Pervy Sensei. There's a lot of stuff. I don't know. I don't even know if they could beat it. I think I'm probably having revisionist history. I think I got to go back and watch a lot of these fights in order to say, oh, nah, they can't do that. All right. But again, this is Xbox Frontline News with your boy, The King. Just want to say thank you for each and every last one of you showing up. And if it was a topic that I missed, hit me in the DMs. Let me know so I can get that topic tomorrow. But I want to say good night. And what did he say? Be on the lookout for the Dip Down Anime Valari pillow. Yeah, yo. Yes.